All right, hey guys, welcome to our last test run. I know we've been preparing this for a while, and I'm so happy that we're finally doing our last test run. As you know, I'm the Tex-Mex nerd, and this is Doom or Z Doom.
Hello there. Nice to see you all again.
All right, and we're gonna talk about. We have a couple things to talk about. Talk about the new Spider-Man anime series that came out. I'm thinking the 29, and we're also gonna talk about Daredevil. Of course, we got that show coming in March, and then we might even talk about a little bit of Fantastic Four. What do you think, Z?
I think that's sounds like a plan.
All right, so we're gonna leave off first off. We're gonna talk about. Look at the captions going. We'll talk about your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, which is the latest animated show created by Marvel Animation and associated Marvel Studios, and it's currently the first episode on Disney Plus. So, have you had a chance to watch the show, Z?
I unfortunately have not watched the show
Why?
only because I'm waiting for Disney Plus to slip up and somehow it's out in the ether for me to watch. Unfortunately, none of the Doom bots at my disposal have done
Oh,
anything to help me with that. So, yeah, sad times. But
have
have
you
you
thought
had
about
the
it?
chance to watch it?
Oh yeah, yeah. I've seen it. I've seen it several times, but I was so bored. I started rewatching the episodes. Right now, it's just the first two episodes, but I think they're gonna have like an interesting schedule. Where it's like I think three episodes. I think they come out Wednesdays. Could be wrong. Wednesdays or Thursdays, and the other three, and then the last two episodes that come out on the fourth week, and then it's like about a month of like Spider-Man episodes.
Oh, snap. Wow. I
And have you
mean,
heard about the show?
I have heard about the show. The show is, I mean, it's one of the many, well, it's the next run of Spider-Man in terms of animation. So something like this is really top-notch stuff. And considering the style is very reminiscent of what they've done with X-Men 97 in the previous, at least as of most recently, in terms of, the Marvel universe currently. Um, so I think it looks really well animated from what I've seen. I mean, there's also been teasers of special suits, such as the Future Foundation suit of
Mm.
Spider Man, um, which who knows who's going to give it to him this time around, though. I do know who it is. I don't know if our good old boy Tex-Mex would like
Oh,
to
it's pretty obvious. It's Oscorp. It's Norman Osborn.
Oscar. I
They're gonna
mean,
repurpose the suit instead of being Future Foundation. It's gonna be Oscorp. It would be like Spider-Man, kind of like loosely associated with Oscorp because it's like the MCU Peter Parker that we know, but instead of Tony Stark being his mentor, it's gonna be the Green Goblin, but Norman Osborn to be the guy to guide him through. I would say it's kind of like I think that from what I've seen from the shows, they grab a little bit of everything from the Spider-Man that we knew before. Like mainly the main inspiration is the MCU Spider-Man, but I see elements like in this, of course, the Green Goblin knowing Spider-Man is kind of like of course like Sam Raimi movies, and then
yeah,
the second episode we see the Lizard. She now is the she in this universe is a she now, and she works with Oscorp just like in the main Spider-Man movies. It's the Lizard that used to work with Oscorp. So here is kind of the same thing with I think the Dr. Connors. So it has similar elements from the Sony movies, and they're kind of like mixing up in this one universe. And I kind of like the fact that it's kind of like the art style is. I really like it. It's not Spider Verse. It's not super like artsy and all that, but it does like very how do I say it's very a lot of inspiration is from the early comics, his first appearances. I kind of like that like minimal kind of like take of this show because it really does give like a love letter to Steve Ditko, who was the creator, and his like if you look at like Jack Kirby's art style, it's super explosive, super massive. Like we're talking about like like cosmic gods and explosive stuff like science, so sci-fi to the max. And then Steve Ditko's kind of like more minimal, not too much like explosive, but does have a lot of good artistic, like he has his own artistic style to it. I think it's very nice that we see a little bit of that too, Steve Ditko as well. And yeah, the show really delivers that. It's basically like Steve Ditko, but if he created the MCU, I would say, and that would be kind of my take of this new universe that the
That's
show
good.
is presenting.
That's a pretty good take. What would you say is probably, considering you've watched the first two episodes, is the best moment so far among the two?
Oh man, there's just one part of the episode. I think it was episode first episode. I think it was first episode where Spider-Man saves this. Not saves. He was uh getting money because he caught a someone who was down in her luck, a robber, and she turned him into a pizza owner because she stole money from a pizza restaurant. So he was like, "Hey man, do you want to like call the cops on her? It's up to you." And he was like I said, he let her go despite her like robbing his business. He was like, we understood that you're down your luck. Just don't do it next time. And that was it. Instead of like like straight up turning her into the cops or anything like that, it was like, "Hey man, you made a mistake. Just don't do it again."
Hmm.
Because she was down her luck, and it was kind of like stuff like Spider-Man, like being up the bad guy or whatever. It's like, hey, it shows the humanity in Spider-Man, and it shows how great of a hero he can be. And that's just the first episode. So
Wow, that's a pretty good take. What, um, considering there's been many renditions of Spider-Man over the years. I mean, from Sam Raimi to after that we had the Amazing Spider-Man to Tom Holland's Spider-Man, and even Miles Morales Spider-Man, and as well as all of those other Spider-Man and women in the Spider-Verse films. Um, and also, don't forget the most important, Madam Web. Um, Madam Web. Of course, that's me being sarcastic there.
yeah,
But how exactly did this Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man take off? How did it start off? Did it pick off of an origin story, or did it start from the middle, or did it start from already knowing who Spider-Man was in the city or in the community?
like we see a version of the bite, but it's it's interesting because that in most universes, Spider-Man he became Spider-Man before Uncle Ben dies, but in this case, Uncle Ben is already gone. So his Uncle Ben's gone. Peter Parker's not Spider-Man yet, and the high school that we saw in the MCU, the Midtown. Well, that school ends up being destroyed because Doctor Strange is fighting against a symbiote. Not Venom, a symbiote that looks like Venom, but it's a random symbiote that Doctor Strange fights. And so, um, and we see the portal that's where Strange came out and fought the symbiote. And we see a little spider coming up from the portal, and that's the spider that ends up biting Peter. But that spider is still alive and in someone's backpack that we don't know about. So that kind of sets up another possible spider person coming soon.
Ooh,
Not just Peter. So
not just Peter in this universe. Okay, now that is
that's interesting.
actually really interesting. My goodness. And based on what you know from the comics or from, from what you like personally like have gone over, who would you say that person is? Or maybe you already know who it is.
Yeah, we don't know who it is, but I don't think it's gonna be Miles. I don't think it's Miles. I doubt it's Miles. I think they're doing something because they already did a lot of like Peter and Miles being together a lot. So I think they want to do something different. So I'm thinking it could be maybe Cindy Moon
Ooh. Is
because in
that
the
Silk?
comics they were bit by the same spider. So it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, it could be like they're
That's
both
Silk,
in the
right?
same universe. Oh, sorry.
Is that Silk?
The what?
Is that Silk?
Yeah, Silk. Yeah, Silk. That's
Silk.
her.
Nice. So two spider people in the same universe already off the get go. I mean, not that we haven't. Well, actually, well, we've seen it somewhat in Spider Verse, but this is something interesting considering this is like branching off from the MCU and not as much as Sony Animation. Um, it's like it should be interesting how the story unfolds based on what you've seen so far in the first two episodes and what you know of the titles, which I'm pretty sure are publicly like viewable. What do you think should we expect going forward with this series?
I'm not. I mean, I'll tell you what's not gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be a multiverse thing. It's gonna. I think the show is gonna be very like its own thing, but it has like a lot of like connections to the MCU, especially like in the Civil War era of the MCU. So because there's a lot of parallels between like this. Mainly, they have parallels of Civil War, like like especially the scene where it's like like shot for shot, you could hear the same song playing where he was like walking back to his apartment, seeing the fancy car, but it's not Tony's car, it's Osborne's car. So, but it's all parallels to that moment. And instead of the only difference is instead of Tony, it's Norman that he meets. But it's shot for shot, almost exactly the same scene from Civil War. So there's gonna be a few parallels like from Civil War, I think mainly Civil War, and I doubt we'll see anything from Homecoming, but or anything like that anytime. Well, I could be wrong. Maybe later on we'll see something with Homecoming, but different because he's at different high school now. But but
Yeah,
we'll see. But for now, yeah, it's pretty much gonna be mainly parallels with Civil War for a bit, and then I think soon it'll probably branch off more into its own thing.
I mean, there's so many opportunities. I think with this particular series, I don't know if it's possible considering contractual obligations and stuff. But who knows? Maybe, just maybe, they reference the X Men. I'm just saying. What if they reference the X Men? Could happen.
I think that's possible. I mean, it's done quite a bit of things that the MCU it's sort of already like in a different like there's already different events that happen that made it already different from the MCU. Like there's just character like okay, Doctor for starters, Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange doesn't become Doctor Strange until after Civil War. In this universe, he's already Doctor Strange. So he's already Doctor Strange. And then another thing I've noticed is that one of the characters in the second episode where they're like in a lab, like trying to like like test things out. There is a character from Wakanda. Wakanda didn't open until after Civil War too. So in this case, Civil War hasn't officially happened yet. From what it looks like, I'm not sure yet, but it hasn't happened yet. But Wakanda's already open, and Doctor Strange already Doctor Strange. So it's not impossible to think that the X Men could appear somewhere down the line in the show because it's already a little bit different from what it is. But it does have its parallels with the main timeline, but there are differences already, even from the start. So
Yeah. I mean, that
it's not like
sounds.
Spider Man.
No, you go first. Go first.
Oh, sorry. It's not
Yeah,
like
you.
Spider-Man alone like caused a branched timeline. It was already branched from the start, especially since it's animated too. So that's probably another thing why it's already like branched off.
For sure. I mean, based on what you're saying, I mean, I want to get to it. I want to subscribe to Disney Plus right now. Actually, you know what? I'm buying the subscription. Uh, sorry, Sal. I gotta go.
Yeah, right.
Nah, I'm joking. But obviously, I mean, that sounds super interesting. But what I'm most excited for, in terms of if there is a possibility for a cameo of him in the series, possibly would be Daredevil.
Oh, he's coming. He's coming for sure. No, that's not even like that's he's coming.
He's coming. Oh
There's
my
already
gosh,
like clips of him already.
that's insane.
You don't
I
even
mean,
know?
well, I've seen images of Daredevil in the series, which is why this is the perfect segue into
Oh,
Daredevil Born Again,
well,
the
yeah.
series.
Let's do it.
Which I mean is pretty interesting based on the trailer. I mean, it looks amazing. It looks graphic. It looks like not a Disney related series. I'll tell you that much. Okay, this thing looks gory. It looks it looks it's a special type of something. I'll tell you that. But yeah, what are your thoughts on it so far?
I really like it. I haven't. It's been a long time to have seen the Netflix series. It's been a long time. I think even before it came to Disney Plus was the last time I ever seen the Daredevil show. It's been forever. But of all Netflix shows, I think that's gonna be my favorite one. Especially like when season two comes out. Let's see, the second season of the first show with Punisher and Elektra. Like it was really nice seeing like that darker side, street level side of the Marvel universe. Really think like it's like living in the same world where we have the freaking Punisher and then we have a talking tree and a raccoon. It's insane how it all adds up to the same universe.
Yeah, I have to admit, after personally watching these, because I had no idea these were a thing until our buddy Tex-Mex told me about them.
You
Get the Disney Plus bundle. I will. I will.
do.
One day. One day. Um,
You
but
get free
yeah,
movies, yeah.
Yeah, but but nah. I mean, Daredevil Born Again is gonna be something. And considering they're bringing back characters, including the Punisher, I've seen other characters that were mentioned. A season 3 character, which I don't know the name of currently, off the top of my head. I don't know if you know his name. It's a villain.
Weasel?
Weasel? Nah.
No, Weasel.
I think he has
Oh,
a
Bullseye. Bullseye. You mean Bullseye?
yeah, Bullseye, Bullseye.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
continuing from there, so it's really cool. Oh man, another thing is that I think that this show has a lot more budget to it, and they're not gonna be afraid to like how do I say like not just be gore, but really show like Daredevil like to the max, like how he really moves, how he really like it's gonna be very more comic accurate, and they're not afraid, they're not gonna be afraid to be like more comic booky with Daredevil, but they're still gonna keep a lot of the gore and all the street level stuff that the Netflix show has done. So they're keeping a lot of things that was already good, but they're also gonna improve on things that or make things better as well. So like I heard another like I think one of the producers talk about that they're not gonna be as like there's not gonna be as much talk, like not as much. How I forgot the word, but it's like not as much like gazing or like it's not a lot of talk as the first show. So we're gonna see more action, more everything, more drama, more stuff happening in the show than the first one. So we'll get more action there too. So
yeah. I'm excited. I mean, Daredevil season 1, in my opinion, I don't know about you, but was probably the best season that I've seen. I haven't saying I say this having not seen season 3 yet because I was getting to that point. Um, but Daredevil season 1 did an excellent job, and that's why I'm so excited for who the main supposed villain in this like new series could be, and that is Kingpin. Now, in Daredevil season 1, Kingpin is phenomenally written. Like if you ever have the chance to watch one of the Daredevil seasons, and if you had to pick, if you could only watch one, I would 1,000%, no, 3,000% recommend Daredevil season 1 because the way they orchestrate the story, especially around Kingpin as the villain against Daredevil, was great. I think Charlie Cox does phenomenal. I think the actor for Kingpin does amazing. Though he's not as like big and comic accurate as we see him in the comics, I think it really delivers like such a powerful message of who Kingpin is. Like when he looks at the white wall and sees like what type of man does he want to be, and that white wall is so prevalent throughout his story. We see it in the beginning when he's introduced. He just stays looking at it, and then when he's introduced to Vanessa, and throughout this that season, throughout even like teased in season 2 as well, when he's shown again in his jail cell. Spoiler. Um, it's also teasing back to like his backstory, which is super amazing, and how they try to implement it every chance they get. So I think the writing is so great on that one. So as you can see, I'm super hyped to see Kingpin again and see what kind of writing they're gonna make around him, especially against Daredevil, or maybe who knows, he might be teaming up with Daredevil this time around.
maybe so. I'm excited to see what they're cooking up with Born Again for sure.
Yeah. What from what you could remember, what would you say is possibly your favorite part or perhaps moment of Daredevil so far from the Netflix series that was released previously?
Well, I certainly liked the fight in the first season finale was great. I liked how they executed the fight between Daredevil and Kingpin in the first season. Second season, I liked like Punisher and Daredevil, like their kind of like their argument between what a hero is, you know. Like Punisher kills and Daredevil is the opposite of that, but they both like trying to understand each other. It's both are trying to like he's trying to protect Punisher in a way because he understands him, but he's doing it the wrong way. He believes, but Punisher is so much in his ways that's like he has to do what he has to do because otherwise nothing will ever change. And the third season, I can't say I recall much the third season from, but I do remember like a scene. Oh man, when you said the white wall, there's a scene that you're probably gonna like because
Oh
it slowly
man,
sets up to that point.
now I gotta rewatch it, man. Now I gotta watch it. You know what? I gotta get off the podcast now. I'm
Get the
joking, of
bundle.
course. um, but yeah, man, I'm excited to start getting on that. And if anybody else out there who's watching the podcast right now, I think me and Sal would equally both recommend the previous Daredevil series because it was really great, especially season one for sure.
Oh yeah.
Um, Personally, for me, season was great. Kingpin was my favorite part of season one. How they executed his plot throughout. How did they just carry the plot? It was seamless, if I'm being honest. But when it came to season two, I loved the Punisher part. I really did. Elektra, okay, Elektra. Now, there's nothing wrong with her character per se, because that's probably how they wrote her into the story. But it kind of muddled down the plot line that was going along with Frank in the background, just a bit, just a tad bit. And because Electro was just like dropped in there to the plot to kind of mix things in, and then by the end of it, you figure out that, oh snap, this goes into something huge, and that's where it segues into another Netflix series that they've made, which is called The Defenders, and that coincides with other series that they made like Iron Fist, Luke Cage, uh, what's it called? I forgot her name. What's her name, Sal?
Jessica Jones.
Yeah, Jessica Jones. So it's pretty amazing how it all segued into that series called The Defenders. And The Defenders it was an alright series. I wouldn't say it was the best, not compared to Loki season two, mind you, but it was alright. The way it executed its plot. So if you haven't watched Daredevil at all, or you know any of the other series that I mentioned, you could go straight into the Defenders. At least, like maybe with Daredevil in hand, and then go into Defenders, because the way they introduced the characters like Iron Fist, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, it was pretty seamless. You really don't need to know too much about them to actually get into that plot line. But that's just my personal opinion on the matter. So yeah, I don't know what you have on the matter, South or Tex-Mex.
Z, I got two recommendations for you.
Oh snap! Here we go.
All right, you like Kingpin so much, right?
I do love Kingpin. He's amazing.
All right, so you have to watch Hawkeye,
Oh yeah, that's actually what I was gonna watch right after
and you have
Punisher.
to watch Echo.
Oh no, not Echo. I've heard how good is it? Is Echo good? We gotta know.
It's not bad. It's very standalone. You're probably gonna forget it's in the MCU, even with the Kingpin there. You're probably gonna not even realize it's MCU. But it's more standalone. It's not. I don't think it's bad at all. I thought it's pretty good. A pretty good show for being standalone. It's not bad at all. I really enjoyed it. I like the actress. And so technically in Disney Plus they do have Echo as part of the Defender saga. So that it might be like a little prequel before the soft launch, the re-soft launch of Defenders.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it, man. And especially, I don't know if is Moon Knight in the Defenders by chance?
No, no, the Moon Knight is on Defenders. But
Darn.
he is a Defender, but he's
Yeah,
not in the Defenders. Not in this Netflix show.
yeah. It's not worth watching then. No, I'm joking. I'm kidding.
I think you saw it already.
Huh?
I think you saw Defenders already.
Yeah, I did see Defenders. Yeah, but Moon Knight's not in there. And then the soft
I
launch,
I remember before the Marvel TV Marvel Studios merger that supposedly they were planning to have Moon Knight appear in Iron Fist season 2.
Oh wow, that would have been interesting. That
Yeah,
definitely would have been interesting.
but didn't go through. And I think, yeah, technically the Moon Knight would have been part of the. I think that if they kept this going, it probably would have been in Netflix, the mini verse, the mini Netflix universe that
The mini Netflix
that was
verse,
Marvel. So
the Marvel Netflix verse. The Yeah, I can't think of a combination name at the moment.
the Netflix verse is probably the best one.
Yeah,
Very
but Daredevil Born Again is pretty hype for sure. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what else do we have to touch on regarding to Daredevil Born Again.
With Daredevil, I mean, let me see what else I can think about. I mean, I think that I know it's funny. And now that reminded me. I remember just a couple. I think a few days. It's probably yesterday or day before that Disney Plus Canada actually had like a list of shows for people to watch before Daredevil Born Again. Of course, Daredevil was in it, but you also have Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist part of the list. So I was like, why are they part of this? And then not long after, Disney Plus deleted the message. So it's like, that's interesting. I wonder why they put that there and deleted it.
They don't want us to
So,
see it, man. They don't. They're keeping it lock and key, man.
well, I think we're gonna see more characters than just Punisher for sure. Punisher and who else? I mean, it's. I think they bring everyone together in the show, and plus even some MCU characters too. So it'll be a little combination between the two.
I mean, I from what I remember, I haven't seen She-Hulk personally, but I heard maybe they might bring She-Hulk into Daredevil Born Again. It might not happen
Yeah,
in season one. It could be season two.
they
If I had to
might.
guess.
I mean, they're both lawyers, and it makes sense. Kind of like how do I say, mingle it together and sort of like combine it. You know,
Yeah, for
you should watch the
sure.
first episode of Echo because Echo. I hate to spoil it for you, but
No, you're good. You're good. You're good.
but the Echo character first appeared in the Hawkeye show, so she has a lot of ties to Hawkeye. So, anyways, in this first episode, it's about a little bit of her life, and in one of the when she first started out working with Kingpin, she met Daredevil, who was a very experienced like vigilante. So he's like already like kicking ass and everything. So he was fighting against the Echo, and well, they both and like she was a strong fighter though, but they both fought each other until Daredevil kind of won the fight, I guess. And not long after, I think a couple more scenes later, we kept working with Kingpin, and then we meet uh the the killer of her father, who turns out to be Hawkeye.
Oh wow.
But he's not Hawkeye. He's in another. Well, like in Endgame, he was Ronin
Yeah.
with the sword and all that.
Yeah.
Well, in the show Hawkeye, it kind of dwells on that past a little bit, not too much, but it dwells in the past. And the suit was trying to be auctioned, but then some people tried stealing the suit. Nobody knew that Hawkeye was Ronin, so when he got the suit, he tried to get rid of it. And so this Echo character, she's trying to like get to Hawkeye because they figured that he was the one that the Ronin was the killer. So up until that point, she didn't know that Hawkeye was the killer. Just know that he was trying to protect Ronin in a way. Until they found out that it was actually him that was Ronin.
Wow. That's insane.
But she's kind of like the middle person between the Defenders and the Avengers, because you have her meeting Daredevil, and of course she's under Kingpin, and then you have her fighting against not fighting. Well, she did fight. She fought against Ronin, who turned out to be Hawkeye, Clint Barton.
Ben Barden,
She's
man.
already a little link between the two, not universe, but two groups.
Two groups.
So she's kind of important. I would say she's kind of important. I think that's when they started trying to like merge the Defenders verse with the broader, bigger Marvel universe. Slowly but surely.
Slowly but surely, indeed. I mean,
And
who
Daryl's supposed to
knows?
be the one to like
That.
big time.
Oh yeah. I mean, I can't wait to see what type of cameos they come up with Daredevil Born Again in terms of introducing MCU characters that weren't previously known to that universe
Spider Man.
into there. Oh, yeah, I've heard rumors of Spider-Man being introduced. Is it
God,
true? Is it not true? Time will tell. I hope it
I,
is. I'm not gonna lie, because there's a long-standing like plot line that was rumored to be in the rumor mill regarding this the next Spider-Man film, and it was going to be a street level film, I believe, right?
that's what they want. That's what Marvel wanted. And then Sony's like, ooh, let's make another multiverse movie.
Yeah, it happens. The Sony verse, it has to happen. But I
Oh,
mean, that's one thing to be hyped about in terms of Daredevil Born Again, in terms of introducing a new character, and not only that, a new storyline and an entirely new universe that wasn't there before into it. And this is just the beginning, mind you, because in the coming months, we're gonna see many other characters introduced to this verse. We got Captain America: Brave New World coming up very, very soon this February. I don't know if you want to talk about that briefly. Any thoughts?
oh yes, yes. Actually, yes. I like to talk a little about Captain America because there is something so cool that came up recently. I don't know if you guys saw a teaser that came out earlier today about animantine.
Ooh. Adamantium.
Yes, and it's so cool that they actually kind of like dwelled a little bit more into it. I know they mentioned it before in the trailers, like briefly, but here they kind of dwelled a little bit more into it. And seeing, if you guys seen Eternals, it pretty much connects to Eternals. So it's like the first time they actually like set up Eternals like, a little bit more because it's like they're going to this island where the emergence was supposed to happen, like that big hand and the big face. The Celestial was supposed to be born, but the Eternals like successfully like killed it, I guess. So now, no, because where they did there, when Cersei made like froze his whole like Celestial, it turned out that it was another compound, another element that was probably introduced into the MCU and that's adamantium. So pretty much it's gonna be very like earthly, where it's like all these countries are gonna fight for this new compound, this new element that came out of nowhere, and so everyone's gonna want that piece of flesh. It's very realistic too if you think of it. It's like oil, but like you know adamantium, like the strongest metal ever. So everyone's gonna
Yeah.
fight for that, and of course, Sam Wilson probably the middle guy between like stopping all this like chaos and resource stuff, and then now he has to fight a freaking Red Hulk now. So it's like he's got a lot of things up in his wings right now.
Red Hulk, huh? The
Yep.
villain of the Captain America Brave New World. Huh. I wonder if he's the only villain in this film.
Wasn't there another like what was the
Ah,
character?
I can't remember off the top of my head. He just, he's too big brain, to remember.
Yeah, I
If
wouldn't
you
know
catch my drift.
either.
Yeah. Who knows if we'll see him this film? But if nobody knows who we're talking about someone who was teased, I believe, in the post-credit scene of the first Hulk film, right? Or maybe it was like
Oh,
the ending.
leader.
Yeah, the leader. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
man, it's the last time he came out was in the only Hulk movie in the MCU in 2008. How old were you in 2008?
I was uh, I was 0 years old. I was 0 years old.
Well, I was 6 when it came out. I was freaking 6.
Wow,
And it took how many years? 18, like 18 years
18
for
years.
the leader to come out. Not 18 years, sorry. 17? Yeah, 17 years. Took 17 years for for them to finally use his character. I was 6 when they first teased him. And now 17 years later, now they're finally doing something with the leader, which I'm happy about. I mean, I know it's a complicated entanglement with like Hulk because I think since 2000, I think 2000, maybe 2005, 2006. You know, in case folks don't know, the Hulk films used to be owned by Universal Studios uh, since I think for a while until the early 2000s or mid 2000s. Well, technically they own something, but they don't own the film rights anymore, so they can't own since 2005, 2006. They can't make it their own film with Hulk. So Marvel has the rights, but Universal still has the distribution rights. So any movie that Marvel makes, Universal has to be like, well, we still own distribution. Disney can't do it, so we're gonna have to be the ones to distribute Hulk, and they still get like 50% or something like that, a good chunk of the profits, just for distributing the movie. It's just ridiculous. So that's why they never had a Hulk movie, and that's why Hulk kind of like sharing with other characters, like especially like Ragnarok being one, and that's why. And I think it's a good thing, at least in this new Captain America movie, we will see more Hulk in it at least, and hopefully, yeah, I've heard rumors also of a Red She-Hulk coming out. Miss Thunderbolt Ross's daughter, she was also Hulk too in the comics, Red She-Hulk. So who is also the love interest of Bruce Banner, aka the OG Hulk. So it's
Wow.
kind of crazy. Like, they have a lot of potential there for all these like Hulks to come out, and also pretty excited to see and yeah, it's also yeah, basically there's just a lot of Hulks that they're setting up, and hopefully we get something like World War. I think it's a World War Hulk. They've always been trying to like setting up that movie. They always been teasing that movie for years and always saying, oh, like all these people are saying, oh, the movie's gonna be made. It's in the works, It's been like that for so many years. I'm like, when is it gonna actually happen? You know, we're waiting for World War Hulk to happen. Like, when's that gonna happen? Well, they
Who
should do more
knows?
Banner for sure.
I mean, it could like it could be one of like the propelling like movies going into the mutant saga. You never know.
That could be a good one. Yeah, I think that could be. It is pretty good. That's a good way to do it because you have all these mutations and mutants coming in, and it makes sense. But hopefully, we see like more Hulk soon because I think there's still a lot of like ways for them to do story like independent storytelling of Hulk without having him to share another character's movie. You know, not that Thor Ragnarok was bad or anything. It was just like it would have been cool to see a Planet Hulk movie like many people always wanted. And I'm thinking hopefully maybe we'll see that. Like I've always thought about like Marvel should do like an animated like limited series with Hulk and do like have him like in planet like in the same like what was it Sakaar? I think Sicarians? Yeah, Sakaar was the
Yeah,
planet
cigar.
that he was in. So have like a limited series in the MCU about Planet Hulk and be like a little prequel before Thor Ragnarok in a way.
Yeah, that would be pretty nice. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, considering the in the comics, I'm pretty sure World War Hulk took place. Will started off with like Hulk being sent into space because the Avengers thought he was too dangerous to keep on the planet,
Yeah, that's kind
and I think, and then there are rumors going around, which I do not know if this happened in the comics, at least at the moment, off the top of my head. But there are rumors that I've heard that the leader just might create other Hulks in the MCU, and that might lead to the beginning of World War Hulk in the future. Which I've heard also rumors that World War Hulk might be a film between either Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars, but I do not know about that yet. It could also be before, could be very much after, because World War Hulk is a quite a big story to set up. I think.
oh it is. Yeah, I'm hoping that they make that film soon because, and maybe hopefully they talk with Universal because there's always rumors saying, oh, that Universal gave them the rights back. I'm like, I don't know about that. But then again, I mean, Disney still like they're still like it's kind of a little off topic, but just talking businesses here. That Comcast, aka Universal's owner, still has like their 33% stake in Hulu, and they're currently talking about the price of that because they're gonna sell that to Disney. But I'm thinking that if Universal or Comcast, I should say, wants to sell it, they want a big price for it, and they have banks right now talking about it, seeing what the price really is because they still couldn't come with an agreement yet for what the price is, the value of the 30%. Universal, of course, wants more money for it. Disney wants little money for it because, well, they don't want to pay that much. So I'm thinking, like, if it does end up being bigger than they wanted to pay, maybe they can negotiate something and maybe someone end up getting the distribution rights to Hulk. That's the one thing they're missing with all this. That's why they haven't made a film at all for Hulk. Or, I don't know. That's just one thing I'm thinking I thought about, but it's kind of weird. But yeah.
Ah, it's not weird. I mean, it would be pretty interesting to see how the rights are handled going forward. I think with the Hulk. I mean, considering it's the MCU and Marvel now, Marvel Studios, I should say, with our goat Kevin Feige at the helm. You let's hope it goes well. To be honest, I do not know though what in the world Hulk. See what I did there? Could be
But in the world.
the post-credit scene of Captain America: Brave New World. There are many rumors currently, and I'm pretty sure it might have already been leaked as of the making of this podcast. Um, and based on your your nod there, I'm guessing it was by chance.
Oh, what?
What by chance was it leaked? The
Well,
post-credit scene.
like for Hulk, or what do you mean?
No, for Captain America: Brave New World.
Oh, yes. So with all the adamantium going on, obviously they're going to need with all these Hulks. Well, from what I'm thinking about, if the movie ends up having all like with the leader having more Hulks around the MCU, I think they need someone to you know protect a certain country from all these Hulks running around. maybe a little country called Canada, and that Canada has a certain mutant they want to test this stuff on.
Ryan Reynolds.
They tried that already.
Oh no. But yeah, I mean, it should be pretty interesting. I think um, me and good old Tex-Mex were here talking earlier before this podcast of what could it be, and one of us brought up that it could possibly be a post-credit scene revealing not only the beginning of the formation of the Avengers again, via Sam Wilson this time,
Who is it?
and
Doom. Who is it?
huh?
Who is it? Doom. Who is it?
And possibly blueprints of Weapon X.
Mind blown.
I know, absolute cinema. So who knows what could happen in this post-credit scene? Because I think a lot of people are definitely going to watch it, especially the Marvel fans for the comics, especially considering what all of this culminates into Secret Wars. This is the beginning. This is one of the one of the foundations to the films going forward. So it's kind of interesting to see how Marvel is going to play this, to get to that point. Um, I mean, there are many routes that they could do. They could introduce snippets of Doom, but I don't think they are. I've been hearing some fans complaining about, oh, introducing Doom toward the end as the big bad might not be the best plan. And if I'm being honest, considering Thanos was introduced sometime, I think in the War of New York, if I'm right or wrong, I'm not sure. He was teased as like giving Loki the power to do all that he did in that film, in the first Avengers film. So it's quite interesting to see how they're going to play off Doom being the big bad until we get to Secret Wars. Because considering this is rumored to be, Doom is rumored to be in Fantastic Four First Steps in one way or another. Victor at least is rumored to be in that film. So whether it be a snippet, a cameo, or like an entire sequence, or even post-credit scene in Fantastic Four, we really don't know how much of Doom are they going to put between Brave New World and all the way into Secret Wars? Because for sure, Avengers Doomsday, I mean, Doom is in the name, he has to be there. So, um, so it's really interesting how Marvel Studios is going to play off the storyline, and I think a lot of fans, especially Doom fans like myself, are very happy to see how they're going to play that out. Because in the comics, I mean, it was one of a culmination of many storylines, many crossovers, and that made it into Jonathan Hickman's 2015 Secret Wars and also previous Secret Wars comics that were done before that. So it's really interesting to see how that would go. I just realized the caption is Daredevil Born Again. Where did we go? Where did we go?
From Daredevil to well,
Uh,
now that
we,
we're going to Fantastic Four, I think it's just we start talking about a little bit more about the next date that supposedly has been rumored for the next Fantastic Four for a trailer.
yes, the Super Bowl. Oh, we're getting it during the Super Bowl. Yay! I get to watch football and the Fantastic Four. That's what I want to see.
The Super
It's
Bowl is gonna
fathering time.
suck. They got Eagles and what is it? The 14, not 49, the KC and the
Yeah,
Eagles.
the Chiefs and the Eagles. Yeah,
Oh, fight the literally it would have been better if we had the Bills and the Lions, of course,
yikes.
instead of like whatever we got now. I'm
I
so
mean,
frustrated with that.
yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, it's one way or the other, to be honest. Who
We
knows
got an
which
NFL
way that's.
team.
Huh?
We got an NFL team.
I do not, unfortunately. But I'll tell you the type of team I do have. The
Cowboys.
Fantastic Four.
Oh, like Cowboys. I'm like no.
The Cowboys. Nah,
You got a
nah,
blue team.
nah. I don't have a team at the moment. But I mean, we'll see how that goes. But I mean, I've been seeing a lot of dates. The date I heard recently, and I think you told me this, was February 4. Is that the day of the Super Bowl?
No, no, this was before Super Bowl.
Oh,
It's supposedly actually let me test this little thing out. Well, we tried it once already, but let me try this out again. Let me see.
yeah.
I'm gonna share a screen.
Behold, there is an image being propped up by Tex-Mex, and I am bringing it into view with my sorcery.
All right, let's see if this works.
If this doesn't work, I'm a con artist. Okay,
All right, is that good?
it's not working. Oh,
Is it working?
there's a black screen. Oh, there it is. Congratulations, I'm a sorcerer.
Is it? Let me see. All right. So you see here, it's obviously it says that the trailer release date is leaked. So the rumor is that it would have been premiering in the Good Morning America show, coming out on Tuesday, February 4th, and that might not even be a random choice, being that it's F4, Fantastic Four, pretty much a smart place to release the trailer. If not Super Bowl, then this would be another good place for it. Yeah. So apparently, the tweet says Shop GMA series with GMA lifestyle, and then it says the debut of the Fantastic Four for First Steps movie trailer. This was already deleted, but yeah. So it's surprising to me that they would want to like release the trailer a little bit earlier before Super Bowl. I'd be a little surprised if they did, because it's I know that Fantastic Four is a hot thing this year for sure, especially when he's come. Then they already came out on this new game, Marvel Rivals, which I haven't played yet. I wish I can play it soon though, but I need to get a console. Don't know which one to get yet.
That's all good.
But yeah,
Yeah, I mean the marketing for this film, though not many people know about it. I mean, like Sam mentioned earlier, there's this game, PC game for Xbox, PS4, or PS5, I think, as well as PC. Like I already mentioned that. So it's really interesting to see how there are already this game just released, and they are already released two new characters, which are Susan Storm and Mr. Fantastic or Reed Richards. And we have upcoming. They're going to release the Thing or Ben Grimm, and Johnny Storm, or as we know him, the Torch, the Human Torch, I should say. So it's super interesting to see how Marvel is planning ahead so much for this, especially with Doctor Doom, which they marketed quite well in a game called Fortnite, which a lot of youngins know very well, more than me and good old Tex-Mex here. So we're too old for that stuff. No, I'm
I don't
joking.
know.
No, I'm joking. We know it somewhat, but yeah, it's really interesting to see how they're marketing a lot of these characters, and they're essentially acclimating younger. I think I mentioned this last time, but they're just acclimating younger audiences to get used to these characters in those games, and going forward it's going to ease the transition and get more ticket sales when these films comes out. So it's going to be super interesting to see how that's going to play out when it comes to the sales, and obviously when it comes to who's in the theater when you're watching the film. So with that being said, I don't know what else we have to talk about other than the release date being February 4, which is just in as of you know
2 days from now.
2 days from now, at least as
Less
of.
than 2 days from now, actually.
Yeah.
I didn't realize until like right now. Like, wait a minute. Were we? Are we still January? Like, no, we're February 2nd, soon to be February 3rd. So I'm like, oh shoot.
Yeah, we're in February now, so it's going to be quite interesting to see how that's going to play out. I know the social media apps are going to go crazy that day. So if you don't want to be spoiled or you don't want to watch trailers, I suggest get off every social media app and go cold turkey and never see the light of the blue screen, or should I say the blue light that technology gives us these days. So yeah, I'd say I mean, it's super hyped to see what they might even feature in this trailer. So, any thoughts on what they might feature in this trailer, Tex-Mex?
I think it pretty much be like what they shown before in those other I think those leak trailers they show from like the D23 and Comic-Con events that they were. I think they showed it twice in D23 last year, almost about like several months ago, and then recently in the Brazilian Comic-Con. I think that they're very much the same trailer, maybe minor differences, but for the most part they're the same thing. We might see something like that coming out, but maybe maybe other different scenes, even different like maybe we'll get more action-packed stuff in it. We'll see in this trailer, but we'll probably see Galactus. We might see Silver Surfer. I don't think we'll see Doctor Doom. So sorry, Z. We're not gonna see Doctor Doom in this one.
Darn.
but we'll probably
No.
mostly the team, and we'll see. I mean, I think it's very interesting seeing what they're gonna do with this Fantastic Four group, and yeah, hopefully we'll see something about Doom. Maybe they'll reference Doom. Maybe they'll reference Doom in the in the trailer. Maybe like, oh, we knew since Victor and this like that, and I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I do think, considering this is going to be an established Fantastic Four, as you mentioned, I do think this is definitely going to be, one of those films where they're going to have to do a lot of, kind of introductory, it's going to have to be quick and, a little bit smooth, tactful in how they handle it, introducing these characters, considering the general audience is going to go to watch this film, whether they know the Fantastic Four or they don't, at least somewhat. But we'll see
It'll
how the
just be a
ticket
pale
sales.
face in the beginning, just the mask just pop
Imagine
up
that.
right there.
That'd be insane.
Just
So
boom, you see a middle. That's it, and that's
yeah,
like
I
for the next 2.5 hours just the male mask, and that's it. That's the Fantastic Four film.
that would be insane. But I really don't know what they would feature in this trailer. I do think Galactus is going to be featured for sure.
Spider Man.
Um, Spider Man. Ooh, that would be interesting. I don't. I think it's too soon for now. But I
There's no
do
Spider
think,
Man there. I don't think so.
yeah, I do think whatever the plot line is going to be in this film, we're gonna get tiny, the smallest of snippets in this film. And what I hope they adapt to this film is Jonathan Hickman's rendition of the Fantastic Four, complete edition, by the way. Go check it out. It's somewhere on the internet, somewhere. Find it, read it. It's amazing. Jonathan Hickman, Fantastic Four. Um, but in this story by Jonathan Hickman, spoiler by the way, going forward, um, what happens is Reed Richards is essentially trying to make a perfect world. Essentially, in simply like all in all, he was just trying to make a perfect world where he didn't make a mistake, and where he could make everything go his way. Everything's right and where it's supposed to be. But in reality, as we all know, that's just not how the world is. So in this story, he goes through so many lengths to try to see how do I solve this problem that I just can't solve, that just seems unsolvable to many, including us in the real world. So he goes through many tribulations and stuff. And throughout the beginning of the story, he eventually ends up making something called a bridge, which, by the way, in the Marvel Rivals game, it is featured in the game in one of the maps, the Midtown map in Marvel Rivals. So definitely go check that out if you haven't.
Have you played
Uh,
that game?
yes, I have that. That's how I know this. So
Oh,
the bridge is featured in this film and in this plot line in Marvel Rivals. I haven't read the storyline as of this pod, but from what I believe it is, I'm pretty sure he's trying to figure out a way to kind of, defeat Dracula, which Dracula is currently wreaking havoc in Marvel Rivals in this season. And, Reed is just trying to figure out how to solve it, and he's like going everywhere for it. So, and in this story, as I mentioned, the bridge is involved. And if you look further in his character story, the next one is called the Council of Reeds, which brings me to my next topic of discussion. I 100% believe, at least I hope, please, Doom God, somewhere out there, the Beyonders, the Watchers, if you're watching, make this true for the MCU. We need to see the Council of Reeds in this film.
on
So
Doom.
if yeah, so if there's anything that I want besides Doom in this First Steps film, is the first steps into the multiverse, particularly via the Council of Reeds, whether it is in the post credit scene, toward the end, in the middle, or even in the beginning. I think it would be amazing because in Jonathan Hickman's storyline, he meets the Council of Reeds, and from there the story goes on. And eventually we get to a point in the story where, some way, somehow, guess what? Our boy Franklin Richards, guess what? He at one point or other in the story, he's like, "To me, my Galactus," and there the story continues on from there. So if we get something like that, reminiscent of the John the Hickman storyline, which I've been hearing, is being used as somewhat reference material for the scripts. especially of Avengers: Secret Wars by the Russo brothers. But who knows? They might have rewrote it. I've been hearing a lot of rewrites here and there, so who knows how that's going to go. But either way, it's super exciting to see what's going to be adapted in this film and the potential it has to bring in so many audiences, to make the fans of Marvel that know these stories absolutely ecstatic to see them like for the first time. I mean, this is the Fantastic Four first step into the MCU. So
For sure. I'm excited
yeah,
for that.
yeah. I don't know what else you would like to add to that. Um,
I can
I mean,
imagine some like kids just watching or they see a poster of Fantastic Four, be like, "Hey, that's the people from Fortnite,"
oh my gosh,
or
I
"Hey,
hope.
that's the people from Rivals."
Oh no,
I'm like, I'd be like, "What?
no. Oh man, my worst nightmare.
Those Gen
But
Alphas, man, they're crazy."
yeah, we'll see how it goes though. I mean, it's super exciting to see what type of story that's going to unfold before us, and what little snippets we're going to be getting in just 2 days. So, and I'm really excited to see what we're going to see.
I hope we see Spider-Man, the Steve Ditko suit. That'd be great.
Steve Ditko, I would love to see it. I would love to see it. I mean, who knows? We might be seeing the Future Foundation sooner than we thought.
That would be cool. I mean, they already have the name of it there, so it's like an organization already. So I wouldn't doubt that. But I don't. I mean, I really doubt he'll appear in Fantastic Four though. But if he did, that'd be cool. That'd be sick.
Yeah,
Ooh, maybe Ditko inspired Future Foundation suit. That'd be pretty badass.
yeah. By the way, we should probably give some a little bit. I don't know how you're going on time. By the way, Tex-Mex on your side.
Oh, we're doing good. I'm
All
alright.
right. Yeah. But I don't know if you want to give a little bit of exposition on the one of the focuses that might be featured in this trailer coming up, and that is Galactus.
Mm. Yeah, Galactus. I was. Let me see. Well, I haven't had a lot of thought on Galactus. I thought it was really cool to finally get to see him with this cosmic. I mean, a little bit that we've seen, it's already a lot better than what Fox did with Fantastic Four. Instead of making like a big literal big cloud with teeth, it's like we see like him. Well, we don't see much, but we see him with eyes. We see him like as a being, like not just a cloud, but a being that's like giant and could eat worlds and all that. So I'm just happy
It's
to see a more accurate Galactus than this a big cloud that we saw from like the Rise of Silver Surfer.
yeah,
So they're certainly the MCU is doing a lot better with the Fantastic Four. I also know that the Silver Surfer is a lady in this universe, and it's really interesting they did that. I think they got a good actress for her. Apparently, she's a one and done, so I don't think we'll be seeing her again after this. But it would have been kind of cool to see her more though. But I think that they just kind of want to establish the fact that yeah, this isn't the sacred timeline, the main timeline, so that's why they were able to make some changes. So and actually, well, the female Silver Surfer is in the comics too, so it's still accurate. It's just instead of the Silver Surfer that we're more familiar with, we're going to see the female version of her, but she's comic accurate too. So, but that's pretty nice to have her there, and at least to establish that hey, this is a different universe and whatever. So, and I'm excited to see, uh, like I said, Galactus. I've heard that there'll be more villains in this movie too, like Mole Man and a lot of interesting villains that they had never used before in the Fantastic Four films. So I'm excited to see what they'll do with this not as a team but this universe because the universe is very much like the 60s but in the future, like the Jetsons and all that.
yeah.
So I'm
I
excited
mean,
to see the new world, and it might be destroyed but at least we'll see it. So
that's true. I mean, and Galactus, I mean, he's one hungry guy, man. He might eat this world up. Literally, literally. So if no one knows who Galactus is essentially a one of the many classic villains of the Fantastic Four in the comics and even in films, though last time he was a Dust Cloud, as Sal mentioned. So it from in the comics, at least in the Jonathan Hickman version, he was played more as he was once a mortal man that turned into a cosmic entity that rivaled the Celestials, or perhaps was even greater than them. Because when he showed up in the comics and the Celestials were in the same area, the Celestials were like, "Oh my gosh, it's him, the outcast." You know, they were like, "Ah, yes, he touched. He's the outcast here." So yeah,
Was he
it's
Celestial?
huh.
Was he Celestial in the comics?
At least in the Jonathan Hickman version, yeah, he was.
I
At
figured
least
he was because I mean, he looks very much like Celestial, obviously, because he's big and all that. But
oh, yeah, now I know what you mean. I actually have no idea, but he might be a celestial. But from what I remember, at
that'd be a
least
good retcon.
in this, it could have gotten retconned. It could have gotten changed over time, which happens so many times in comics.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I mean, from the story that I read, at least he was initially a mortal man that ascended into being a cosmic entity, Raul Celestios, and he's a hungry guy that likes eating universes, particularly planets. So
interesting.
it's going to be interesting to see why he's even here. Which in the comics, uh, he essentially is revealed to be like looking for Reed Richards to be like, okay, listen, man, your son, you got to take care of him. We got to watch our back with him because yeah, because he he's a pretty interesting character, Franklin Richards, of who he grows up to be in the future, at least in terms of the Fantastic Four universe in the comics. So, will they do that with the MCU? I don't know. They could do a lot of things going forward, but who knows if it will end up in the same way as the 2015 Secret Wars. So, it's too soon to tell. So, yeah.
Yeah, they'll definitely take a lot of inspiration from the 2015 Secret Wars for sure. Because I'm excited to see that, to see how it all comes up, and wonder how Galactus will fit in with all this. Because he's pretty much. I think they should retcon him as a Celestial because, but like a different kind of Celestial. So I would hope that they would do that, and then bring the Celestials involved, and bring the Eternals involved somewhat,
Yeah.
and then maybe we can get like an OG Silver Surfer,
Yeah.
maybe
It would
into
be
this.
interesting to see how they like pull it off in that sense. I mean, there are many ways they could go about it. I mean, the comics, in the end, Franklin Richards is essentially like, okay, Galactus, you're my herald now. So if it ends up being that way in the comics, I think that would be insane. But I think it's too soon to do that. So yeah, it's hard to say what they're gonna play off in the story. I mean, I've been hearing lots of rumors of how they might change things. I know a lot of people were speculating recently on how Benedict Cumberbatch wasn't going to be in Avengers Doomsday at first, and then he revealed, "Oh, my bad, I'm actually
He
in it."
also said that he wasn't either, so I was like, no, and oh yeah, I am. Never mind.
Yeah. So at this point, I think Doctor Doom's not going to be in Avengers Doomsday. It's not happening. It's not happening. Unfortunate.
It's
I'm
in the
kidding
name.
though. Yeah, it's in the name. But no, we'll have to see how it plays out in the upcoming trailer, what they reveal, and what might be speculated from just those snippets of trailers. I mean, there's plenty of things we could look at, Easter eggs and stuff. So I'm super hyped to see what's revealed and how much they give us in terms of information, or maybe they might not even give us anything at all. They might give us the same teaser that was leaked a lot earlier, and we might have gotten nothing, from the wait. So who knows
They're
what
probably
Marvel's
not
got up?
that one.
Yeah, who knows what Marvel's got up their sleeve for this trailer? But as you can tell, me and good old Tex-Mex here are very, very excited for the upcoming film. So yeah,
Yeah, I for one am very excited. Looking forward to seeing what they do and seeing how they'll execute this Fantastic Four. I'm very much. It's gonna look. It looks way better than the 2015 Fantastic Four from that's for sure. A lot more color, less gloomy, and it's kind of has a little bit of that like vibe from the early 2000s, kind of a little bit. But I feel like it's still very much its own thing, and I feel like they brought a lot of that WandaVision inspiration. Of course, the director of WandaVision also came for this project too, so you see a lot of that WandaVision vibes. will be in this movie as well. We see a little bit more Jack Kirby inspired stuff in it. It's really like a Fantastic Four film that a lot of people probably would have always wanted to see and try to like push more instead of being something super modern. It's well, I mean, it's kind of modern but like classic but future. You know, like it has that good vibe, like uh, like a good '60s but futuristic vibe. It's not super duper modern, but it's something that's like strangely in the past, yet it feels like something that's in the future. It's an interesting take on this team. Instead of being something like modern or more realistic, like the 2015 film, it could be something that's like classic but futuristic at the same time.
Yeah, it's super hard to see what will happen going forward. I mean, we have until, to be honest, July is when this film comes out, so we still have plenty of time. Before that, we have, yeah, we have Captain America: Brave New World. We have Daredevil: Born Again. I don't know when Wonder Man comes out. I know there's a Agents of Wakanda series as well.
It's
Between
been a
now and
lot
then,
this year.
yeah, there's, and also Ironheart, I believe. I don't know when that is. I don't know if it's before or after Fantastic Four.
Probably
Um,
definitely after Fantastic Four.
yeah, so it's gonna be interesting to see kind of how they move forward with those series and how they connect it in the end into the culmination that is Avengers Doomsday. I mean, they have a lot of series to do so, if I'm being honest. So if one could only, speculate on what to expect going forward. Um, I know there's many speculations about Sentry currently, at least a character that is featured in Thunderbolts, or hopefully to be featured in Thunderbolts, which he is in Thunderbolts. There's no way he's not. So it's time will tell. Time will tell what to expect in the coming months, to be honest. So, and that's what's exciting because it's in just a few months we could be getting so much. Um, and also, by the end of this year, we might be even getting leaked footage of Avengers Doomsday. But,
Ooh,
well, not leaked footage, but maybe set footage is
you
more
see over
likely.
down with the metal mask and just be like,
Yeah, imagine.
people
I
in.
mean, yeah, there's a lot of things that could happen between now and then. So, time will tell. Time will tell. I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to add. Uh, so,
Oh, well, I mean, that's about it regarding to our topics, I suppose. Because yeah, I mean, I like it, like you were saying, we're looking forward to seeing the Fantastic Four. I have no doubt, probably the best Fantastic Four movie they ever made. So I'm hoping that they do so well with this film, and I have no doubt they'll do so great either. So I think it'll do. I think it'll be. Um, they'll have a great time with this Fantastic Four film for sure. Looks interesting. Looks fun. Looks very colorful. Looks very much like what it is like like in the '60s. Has that vibe. So I'm very much looking forward to the Fantastic Four film, and along with Thunderbolts and Captain America 4, and along with a lot of the shows coming out this year. Actually, I'm looking forward to a lot of the MCU this year. I know a lot of people would be starting to probably complain about Captain America because certain things about it, but I think I'm excited for it because there've been a lot of lies about Captain America 4, and like they try to say, oh, they've have a three like I think they said like a $350 million budget. I'm like, That's weird. It's too much for a movie, even for a Marvel movie, and it's like it's crazy."
I
But then he
mean,
came out saying, then there was the real source saying that's 180, not 350 million that they spent. So they try to like hail this movie, trying to spread misinformation, which I don't really like when they
yeah,
do that. So when they spread misinformation, like if you're not gonna like something, get your facts straight at least, So
yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, Hulk, the Red Hulk in this film should require quite a bit of CGI. So, price tag on that is going to be a tad bit. I do not know
it's
how well they budgeted in the first Hulk, or at least in the Avengers films, but I'm pretty sure they did quite a number for the Hulk CGI that they had to make for that. So
it's
if
Marvel.
there is like a significant price tag on this film, which to my knowledge, I have no idea. But our boy Tex-Mex knows much more about that than I do in terms of the numbers. So yeah, it's hard to say at the moment, but when this film comes out, I'm excited to see how. or what is going to be the plot of this film and how they're going to play it out. Just like I am the Thunderbolts and for Fantastic Four. So it's really exciting to see going forward.
Yeah, so much to see this year for sure. Let me
Yeah.
see what else we have. We have those movies, Spider Man. I know starting next year they start dying it down a bit with all the Marvel stuff, so I think we won't see as much as this is probably the last year we'll see a lot of stuff happening because most every month we get something new from Marvel, so it'll slow down by next year, and they'll probably put more focus on the Secret Wars and Doomsday for sure. Hopefully, I think for next year besides Doomsday, I'm hoping that Spider-Man 4 does so well because I'm very nervous about Spider-Man 4 because I'm not nervous, not super nervous, but I'm just nervous enough to be like, well, I mean, we have of course Sony dealing with Spider-Man 4, so it's like I just hope that they don't, you know, nitpick and they try to micromanage the movie because I know Marvel Studios has more creative say in it, but you never know with Sony, man. Like they try to, I mean, they even try to make this movie, so Spider-Man 4 from a street level movie into a multiverse film, which, I mean, I get it because it's between Doomsday and Secret Wars, but I just hope that Marvel Studios has more control. If it's, if it's multiverse, it's gotta be Marvel Studios wants or does with Spider-Man. I trust them more with Spider-Man than Sony, as you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, or at least like I mean, doing if they're doing like I think if there's multiverse, they should use multiversal elements, not the multiverse itself, so to speak. So that's what I'm hoping for. Like they use elements, but not like don't bring Andrew and Toby again. You know what I mean? Like save that for Secret Wars. Don't do it for Spider-Man 4. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous that they even consider doing that again. And I think that was something they should have like made a Spider-Man, a mini Spider-Man 3 film or something like that. Instead of all these more BS, man, where they should have made those movies, just at least enrich the multiverse more, which Secret Wars happens. But they want to make spin-offs apparently, so yeah. Well, hopefully that Spider-Man 4 does as well and leads perfectly into Secret Wars.
I mean, one could only hope for the
Yeah,
universe will come crumbling down if it doesn't, both literally and figuratively, at least in the films. In the films. So we'll see how that goes. It would be I'm super excited to see what unfolds with Kevin Feige and the rest of the team and the directors that they choose, script writers, and all the staff involved and how they handle it because it's super exciting to see it unfold what they make.
all right. Well, anything more to say, Doom?
Um, nope, not really. I
No,
can't think of anything else. Anything
no.
else? Tex-Mex?
Oh, that's it with me. That's all good here. We talked about all the new things that came up and things that will come soon. So I'm excited for everything. I'm surely you're excited for everything as well. So we'll keep an eye out for all those wonderful marvelous things that are coming up. And yeah, that's good. That's all with us. Well, we were gonna wrap it up now. So well, guys, thanks so much for joining us. It's been nice that you guys are here. Don't forget to like and subscribe, I guess, and we have a Facebook page if you guys want to follow us. So just search up the Tex-Mex Nerd, and of course you'll be accepted there right away. And you can see all the posts. We have more information in our posts. I'm always posting there, not as much on the days before, but there's certain days where I do post, and certain days I just don't. If it's slow days, I wasn't gonna post much, but I'm always posting things there every day. So if you want, you can join us on the Facebook page, and as you know, this is also our last test run. So the next one will be the real deal. So we're first our first episode of the podcast. So I'm excited for that, and of course, hopefully Z here will join us as well in our first episode, our official first episode. But until then, just wait for a video announcement that I'll be making soon. I just gotta find the a right date for for our first episode, and from there we'll see where it goes. So thank you for joining us, guys, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Take care, guys.
See you guys.